Hello, Oboot from around the world. My name is Kais, and I'm 11 years old, and I live in Montreal, Canada. Welcome to our Oboot Zoom session, where me and my co-host Arel, who is 11 years old and currently lives in New York, will be interviewing our guest change maker, Yigit Yigiter, who is based in New York City as well. Yigit founded Timelooper, a startup that develops unique learning experiences using virtual reality, augmented reality, and extended reality for museums, historic sites, and national parks. Yigit's work contributes to SDGs, particularly SDG number 4, Quality Education. Arel will be asking the questions to Yigit about his background, his journey, his work, his skills, and his impact. We hope that you'll enjoy the session, and I will now be handing you over to Arel to start the interview.
My first question for you is, what inspired you to do Explore?
So can you please repeat that? I couldn't hear.
The first question for you is, what inspire you to do Explore?
Inspire. So my inspiration was actually my grandparents. So I was the first grandkid, and I was fortunate to travel with them all around the world. So whenever schools were closed, they were planning everything, and they were picking me up from my parents' house the day the school was closed. And then we were traveling. With them, I have been to China, Japan, Italy, Dubai, everywhere you can imagine. And then as I was traveling all these places, I always thought about like, hey, what would be like standing here 100,000 years ago? What would be amazing to travel back in time? Because I'm already standing in the actual place. Imagine you're in Colosseum. It's the historic structure. What would be like standing right next to the gladiators as they fight? So I was always dreaming when I was traveling with them. And then now that was my inspiration.
My second question is for you is, what do you do for the work?
What do I do for work? So in order to create an experience, we have to partner with these cultural institutions. This institution can be a museum, can be a historic heritage site. And then we work with different people. Sometimes we work with archaeologists, sometimes we work with the Ministry of Culture. So what I do is, first, I go and tell them and then show examples what we do. And then how can they provide a better experience for their visitors. Then that's my job, first explaining them. So then my second job is, once we decide to work together, if they decide to work with us, then I work with their archaeologists, historians, rangers to decide on the story, what experience we want to develop for them. And that's the second part. And then the third part is actually my team. So our chief creative officer creates the stories, our chief technology officer builds the app and the technology, and then that's the third step. And then the fourth step, I come back in, and then this time, how do we implement this on site, or if it's for schools, for online, how do we use it? As a customer, when you arrive to the museum, when should you put the headset or maybe hold a smartphone and experience it? So that's my third part, and that's called customer journey, and then operations. So those are my three roles. One, business development, speak with these institutions. Two, work with them and define the stories. And then the last one is making it operationalized on site or for online.
The next question is, what's the coolest thing when you work?
The coolest thing is the people that I work with. Imagine I'm working with an archaeologist from Herculaneum, which is right next to Pompeii, but also I know the guy who operates Tower Bridge. in London. So he shows me how to open the bridge so that boats can pass. Or I'm working with the guys in Hiroshima. So what happened after the atomic bomb was dropped, and then how did that affect the lives of people? And what should we do to prevent that happening again? So the coolest thing in my job is to meet with all and work with all of these experts.
So my last question for you is, do you like traveling around the world, meeting everybody and stuff like that?
So I love it. That's the best part. So I'm lucky to go all these places and then meet and then see all these places with my own eyes. It's not only virtual reality, it's not only augmented reality. I can see all these places and then meet with their teams, meet with people from all around the world, and have friends.
Alice, do you have any questions for him?
What would you like to do when you grow up, Kais and Arel? Do you have any? What do you dream of today?
I don't have anything that I dream of. I don't know yet.
I'm dreaming of being a biologist because I want to save the planet and and all the animals.
I don't know. Probably something related to exploring, I guess. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Do you have any more questions? No? No?
I
Okay,
don't.
well, I have two more questions for you guys. I have two more questions for you.
Okay.
What is the difference between virtual reality and the other different types of reality?
Okay, it's a great question. So virtual reality is a 360-degree content, which means that whichever around you look at, you see something. So like, TVs are 2D. You just see it on the screen, versus in virtual reality, you feel like you're in a different place and time. Augmented reality is putting an object in your physical environment. You see your background, but also you see this digital object. For example, let's say that you can travel back in time and then meet with George Washington. George Washington is the first president of the United States of America. So what you do is you can witness his inauguration day. You travel back in time to his time. Alternative, that would be virtual reality. Augmented reality is seeing George Washington in your living room or in the classroom. So you look at, it's your classroom, it's present day, but George Washington is here, and then you can have a conversation with him. That would be augmented reality. If you like, I can show an example where both virtual reality and augmented reality, how it works, in one example from Yosemite. Have you been to Yosemite? All right. So now I am going to share Yosemite, the National Park, or Grand Canyon. Have you been to Grand Canyon?
No.
So let me show you. I cannot share my screen. I need to get permission. So I have the permission.
Okay, I guess I'll ask you one last question then.
Okay.
I have two more questions now. My mom came in and threw a paper in my room. So, what is your impact on the world?
I would say two things. One, it's very important to learn your history and heritage, what happened in the past, so that you do not repeat the same mistakes, or you learn from them and then build on them. So now, for example, we have an experience with Martin Luther King Memorial. So what happened, why equality is very important. So the experiences that we create are highly immersive and engaging, and also it emotionally connects you with the story because you feel like you are right next to Martin Luther King and then listening from him, meeting with him. So that's number one, educating people with a highly immersive content so that they have a better understanding of what happens. The second one is, especially with COVID right now, people cannot travel. Students cannot go to field trips. They cannot go and then meet with those people that I have been mentioning. So now with this Explore product that Arel was asking, which is primarily augmented reality, we can bring all those parks, all those museums to your classroom with their experts, with their biologists. So now everybody is locked down. No one can go to anywhere. And then we are helping those museums to come to the schools, classrooms, and your living room so that you can keep learning.
All right. Now I got another paper thrown into my room. You can now share your screen. You are now able to share your screen.
Thank you. You know what? Let me launch Petra. Have you been to Petra, guys?
No, I have not.
Welcome to Petra in southern Jordan. Petra is not only an archaeological site, it's a World Heritage Site, a world wonder that was the capital of the Nabateans 2,000 years ago. Now, let me tell you how to use the experience. First, find a flat area nearby. It might be your table, floor, or even your backyard. Walk slowly through or around the area as you scan it. Then place the 3D map of Petra on the scanned area. You can scale and move the third map to as large or small as you want by pinching and dragging. Points of interest will then appear on the map. Activate content walking or moving towards a point of interest and bumping your device into its pinhead. In accessibility mode, you can also activate points of interest by tapping pinheads on the screen. Once you activate a point of interest, be sure to look up, down, and around while exploring the environment. Enjoy your experience at Petra, a World Heritage Site and a world wonder.
Okay, now I'm in my living room. I'm scanning my floor. And then when I tap, this is the map of Petra. All these pins, white dots, are different sites in Petra. And Kais, your question, this is augmented reality. You see, it's in my living room, and I'm seeing this 3D object. And I can make this really big or small. So now, so let's look at why don't we go to the church complex, which is right here. So I'm going and I'm tapping my iPad.
This complex comprises the Petra Church, Blue Chapel, and Ridge Church. The Petra Church, as seen here in the floor plan, is a tripartite basilica measuring around 26 meters east to west by 15 meters north to south, with 3 inscribed apses and 3 corresponding entrances. It was probably built in the last half of the 15th century AD. The church's preserved mosaic floor has beautiful illustrations. Many of these images lie inside circular medallions and depict animals, birds, humans, vegetable produce, and vessels, as well as personifications of the 4 seasons, the ocean, earth, and wisdom.
So you see now I can take a walk in Petra Heritage Site, and I'm doing in augmented reality. And when I click those pins, virtual reality content, which is like 3 pictures taken from those vantage points. And then this is again Petra. I can go and explore other sections of Petra as if I'm there.
All right. That's pretty cool. All right. So now my last question before we end your interview is, do you have any advice for people who would like to be change makers?
Yeah, so nothing is easy. So you cannot solve world problems. You cannot change anything overnight. You have to work very hard. You have to keep dreaming big. Even if people said it, oh, like it's not possible. So the number one thing is anything is possible if you work hard. So you have to believe in something and then work towards it. And then as you are working on it, of course, you have to be flexible. Things change. So you have to learn from them, be adaptable, but always, whichever goal you have in your mind, stick to that. And then along the way, be flexible, adapt to the environment, but don't give up.
Okay. That was that was great advice. So I think that's the end. So thank you both for the great discussion and for all the things we learned today. Thank you, Abooters, for listening to this interview. And make sure to follow us on Instagram and on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can hear about upcoming sessions with other change makers. Please also tell your friends about the booths and share our social media links with them. And last but not least, don't forget to answer a quiz to collect an Oboot digital badge. And thank you. Goodbye.